This is King Noble Black Supremacy. And with this particular video, I want to talk about religious versus conscious. Embracing the divinity of the diversity of perception. Very deep title. Embracing the divinity of the diversity of perception. Religious versus conscious. I didn't say religion versus conscious. I said religious. I will tell you that there is absolutely nothing wrong with religion. If you study the religions of the world since time immemorial, you can learn something from them. You can learn something from religion. Different perceptions of God, of divinity, of the afterlife. Different types of symbolisms, myths, different narratives that can help you in the unfoldment of your consciousness. You can learn a lot from religion, from other religions all over the world, and these religions teach you something about the people and the way their minds work and the times. So there's nothing wrong with religion. You can study them all, from Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity, Confucianism, Zoroastrianism, Shintoism, Jehovah's Witness. The list goes on. You can study all of them and learn something. Get some jewels and wisdom from them. So there's nothing wrong with religion. It already happened. It was there. There are plenty of books, plenty of holy books, plenty of words written by holy men and prophets and seers, sages and shamans. You can learn something. So this is not a religion bashing video. The problem is not with the religion. It's with the religious. See, the religious make religion a problem. Because when they become so religious that they think that their religion is the only truth and is the totality of truth itself, and that their precepts and principles and moral codes and system and understanding of God is the ultimate way to exist, that they follow, that they cannot see beyond their beliefs and their ideas. And they've become very rigid, dogmatic, closed-minded. The problem isn't with the religion. It's with the religious. The religious cannot step outside of the box of their religion, because there are many different perceptions of their religion and interpretations of their religion. That's why there's so many denominations and different prophets, apostles, saints, holy men, sages, gurus of some of the same religions. Because there are many different interpretations, many different perceptions. But when you become so religious that you cannot embrace the diversity of these perceptions, you cannot fully become conscious. Because truth is not a particular religion. It's not a particular idea. Truth is when you openly step into the understanding of the diversity of perception. We live in the realm of the diversity of perception. That's what this whole plane is about. So many opportunities for perception and understanding from perception and growth from perception and interpretation and different viewpoints and different views. And our consciousness just continues to expand here infinitely. And our expansion is our true spiritual journey, not our contraction into our belief systems, but our expansion as we navigate and flow through the streams of the diversity of perception. Because we come to know others and we come to know ourselves in the most ginormous way as we continue to embrace the diversity of perception, how others perceive. A lot of people today are talking about nature and getting into nature and the trees and the plants and the earth, and they're looking for fixed things. Astrology. Something fixed. The religious needs something fixed. The spiritual can navigate and flow through the diversity of perception. But today we live in a world of people looking for something fixed, something solid. We talk about quantum physics and how the observer affects what they're observing and how we create the world through our observation. But while we hold these truths very dear to ourselves, we still continue to look for something that is very fixed. And if we don't find it, we just fix ourselves into our own belief systems, our own routines, our own religions. And we fight and resist all other ideas, concepts, principles outside of the ones that we have accepted or acknowledged to be truth. And we debate and we argue. And we get no closer to self-realization. We get no closer to our realization of who we are and our true relationship to the universe, all that is, everyone that is. Because everyone that is a part of us, and many of us realize that everyone there is a part of us or a reflection of us. But we block our reflections by being attached to our own belief systems, our own beliefs, our own truths. And we become religious. And our only chance for consciousness, becoming conscious, becoming enlightened, gets destroyed because we become religious, obsessed with our own perception, our own ideas, our own views that become our prison, that we lock ourselves into and lock everyone out of it that don't agree with us, have a different opinion, a different way of seeing things. We become very disconnected, isolated, and attached. We thought it was our religion, but it was us being religious. Many of us made the transition from our religions, Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, Baptist, whatever our religion was, we converted or we made a transition from our religion to the conscious community. We got rid of our religion because we acknowledged, many of us, it was given to us by the white man. But while we got rid of our religion, we brought our religiousness over. We came religiously and relentlessly with our religion, with our religiousness. So the opportunity to become conscious. And consciousness is nothing but embracing the diversity of perception because it never ends. When you were religious, you lived in a box where these are your truths and you argue these. And this is just what truth is, and you don't accept nothing outside of it. But then when you become conscious, you begin the path of embracing the diversity of perception, that there are many views and many ways to perceive reality, and there are different forms of information, forms of knowledge, and that knowledge is not linear, but circular. And that knowledge is not a discipline, but an art. You start to realize knowledge is art when you begin to embrace the diversity of perception. That an artist has many ways to depict the picture they want, whether it be health, whether it be a beautiful relationship, whether it be just a peaceful and nice way to live, that the artist has so many options in what they're able to depict. So knowledge is like art. There's just not one way to get to your truth. There's not one way to experience the truth. And that experiencing the truth is embracing the diversity of perception, like many different types of paintbrushes to paint a similar picture, many different types of color combinations and geometrical formations to end up at a similar shape. That knowledge itself is not even limited. That knowledge has no ledge. So when you become conscious, you go beyond what you know. You go beyond that ledge. And you delve into the infinite and the unlimited. And you open yourself to the diversity of perception, where you start off just trying to eat healthy and you're a vegetarian and you just keep embracing the diversity of perception, and you become a vegan and you just keep studying and you just find out how infinite it is, how infinite, how many opportunities there are for success for the human soul, how many ways and paths and journeys, that there's just not one. But many bring their religious approach because they're looking for the truth. They don't want to relate to the truthiness of it all. They just want to find the truth. And the closest thing they find that resembles that truth to them, they fight over it like a thirsty man who found water in the desert that don't want to spill it. Not realizing that every cactus they passed was water. That every desert frog's belly was filled with water, but they had limited their perception to what water is and where it was at. So they coveted the water that they had and fought to maintain that water, to the point where even they dehydrated themselves, that they could not even drink of the water that they have because they had limited the source, the reservoir, limited their perception. People have come into the so-called conscious community and they brought their religiousness. They don't want to hear no different perspective. They don't want to hear an alternative truth. They don't want to hear something that is so radical from everything else that they have heard. They want to hear the truth. Just like the Christian, I just want to hear Jesus. Like the Muslim, if it's not Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, I don't want to hear it. If it's not La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, I don't want to hear it. Like the Nichiren Daishonin Buddhist, if it's not Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, I don't want to hear it. If it's not like the Hare Krishna, if it's not Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, I don't want to hear it. They've came with their religiousness, not realizing that being unconscious is being unable to accept the diversity of perception and to accept the first program that you was downloaded with as the basis of your reality and the fundamental truths that you live by, unwilling to venture out to find out that it's more than meet the eye, unwilling to venture out to find out that consciousness continues to expand. You didn't come here to just relate to nature, because nature is not even fixed. What nature is left up to perception. So you came to interface and to navigate through the diversity of perceptions about even what nature is, what health is, what life is, what reality is, that all this is a part of becoming consciousness, and it's the journey of consciousness. The religious person is caught up on the end that is the truth, but the truly conscious person can navigate through the infinity of the divinity of the diversity of perception. They can just continue to navigate through that endlessly, finding peace, bliss, and harmony. Because if life never ends in such a way, truth never ends. Truth is not at the end because the end never begins. So truth isn't at the end. Truth is not the end of the path. Truth is embracing how infinite the path really is. There's no stoppages or stuckages. Truth is beyond the parenthesis, beyond the paragraph, beyond the chapter, beyond your book, beyond what you know. It has no ledge. Many of us have we have brought our religiousness over to consciousness. So we just enforce our religious ideas. We couldn't live in, as, through, for, by truth. That truth has become a sword that we swing to defend our illusions, to defend our limitations, to defend our insecurities, our vulnerabilities, our inability to embrace the infinite reality of possibility. We can't stand in the face of that and maintain an ego that has propped itself up on opinions that we call truth, on preferences that we call truths, on the most that we have been exposed to, that we will allow ourselves to be exposed to, that we call truth. Because that's truth beyond your exposure. There's truth beyond your limitations. And once you go beyond those limitations, there's truth beyond those limitations. And truth is going beyond limitation and limitation to limitation to limitation, to the unlimitedness of beingness. Perpetually. Truth is realizing your limitations and dying daily to those limitations and killing yourself constantly. Truth is living as the world that you were once outside of, that you had encapsulated within a certain type of perception that just didn't hold it, but you was able to fend off ideas that went beyond the spectrum of what you believed. We've brought our religiousness over into being conscious, and that's our problem. We have not become like water. Scientists told us that, depending on the observer, it's either a particle or a wave. The religious person only sees the particle. The enlightened being constantly sees the wave, becomes a part of that wave, and flows with that wave. Submersed in that wave. We've become religious in our anxiety and our stress, our confusion, our contradictions, our impatience, our intolerance, our lack of compassion is based on our own religiousness that only maintains our ego, not our relationship to the ever-changing, changeless truth. Of the diversity of perception. When you came to Earth, you took up a journey to embrace the diversity of perception. And no matter how much you hold a truth to be self-evident, how much you believe something, how much you have to fight for a belief when that which is true needs no one to fight for. No matter how much you fight for it, you'll still exist in the realm of the diversity of perception. So your debates will still go on. Your arguments will still go on because diversity of perception will never die. The real question will be, how will you flow with that? How will you expand with that? How can you learn infinitely? How can you evolve and grow beyond the you that you thought you were? And go beyond the world that you thought you knew? And be reborn again over and over and over and over again. That is consciousness. That is life. That is breath. That is reality. This is King Noble Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.kingnobleuncensored.com. Donate. Don't hate. Subscribe to my YouTube page right now, King Noble Guru. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell button so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. And follow me on Instagram, KingNobleUncensored.c.o.m. Black Supremacy.